What you're about to see is from Rebel Base, IGN's weekly Star Wars show.
So one of the main things that people have been talking about, that it remixes too much of A New Hope. So a lot of people said this, that they think that they've seen too much of it before. And I think the first time around, I didn't actually feel it that bad, but the second time around, I definitely did. I felt like it dragged a lot when they were doing the whole "let's get into the Death Star" type thing. Like I was like,
I don't think any of the movie drags. Like, I think that's a bit harsh.
The second time around, I really felt it. But then, it's hard to say that for a second.
I don't think that thing drags. So, my perspective on this, obviously I can see the fact there's plenty in this movie that has been done in Star Wars before.
Yeah.
The two things I would like to say on that point is, one, Star Wars in itself isn't an original thing. Like, it taps into a lot of old mythology. George Lucas intentionally constructed it on Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces. All those classic archetypes you get across world mythology. He did that. And this is almost trying to do that, but actually doing one of the influences it's building upon or cannibalizing is A New Hope in itself. And secondly, I think the things that I like most about this movie that are most vibrant in my mind after seeing it are the new things. It's not like its successes are purely the stuff that it harks back and recycles. And then the things I like most about it are the new elements. So I don't think it's leaning so entirely heavy on the old stuff. And I think after the prequels, when we had three movies that probably departed or strayed too far from what we all loved about Star Wars. Yeah. And this was the first movie that had to usher in a new age of Star Wars. Not one movie, several movies. It just gave everyone that feeling again. And, maybe it's too close. Maybe it, cleaves too close to a lot of the elements of New Hope. But I feel like this movie had to do that. Kind of go, right, you've wanted Star Wars for a long, long time. George Lucas didn't do that. Here you go. Here's Star Wars again. And it is the same plot ultimately. I thought we needed that. I felt like I needed that anyway.
I think I just kind of felt like the scene where they're talking about a Starkiller base, and they're like, and they even make a joke with it. They go, "Oh, so it's another Death Star," and they go, "No, it's not another Death Star. It's a bigger Death Star." And I just kind of felt like they had an opportunity there to go like, because I generally thought they were going to go, no, instead of building it like an actual base, they've built it into a planet, and you can't destroy a planet, which means there's no destroying it. So that was going to take out the entire thing of, right, how are we going to destroy this thing? I kind of felt they were going to do that, and maybe the last bit was going to be like a rescue film rather than like a blow shit up film. I kind of felt like that, and I think like you said a really good point, which was like, you're kind of sick of seeing this shot where they go from like a quiet bit where there's like a fight between a couple of people to this giant space battle.
I haven't said that yet.
Oh no, but you said it to us, sort of thing.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it feels like I kind of agree with that. Like, cutting back to these scenes, I kind of feel like so much of it I've just seen before.
So I think it sagged badly in the middle as well. But yeah, that was going to be my point. So I agree.
But I think one of the scenes though I think was good with the X-Wing and TIE fight is when they attack Maz Kanata's base.
Yeah, but you know what I think? Like, I think people wanted to see X-Wings and TIE fighters. For so long we've seen like these weird retro versions of them, and I don't know, I feel like
I think my point was just having them juxtaposed with a lightsaber battle again
is very tight.
It's like, well, put them in a different part of the film and have them, get their own scene where. But just seeing what I've seen twice before, and it was a joke in the original trilogy when they had a second Death Star. It took decades to build the first one, and then the next one sprung up very quickly, and it was bigger. And that was kind of a joke. I was like, is that all they could come up with? And so, yeah, my heart sank a little bit when that did come up, that it was Starkiller Base was exactly the same thing, pretty much, but bigger. And then to have that scene follow the same beats, when, as usual, with those finales, I felt it all the way through, the stuff with the lightsabers is much more emotionally and dramatically resonant than the stuff in space, when it's a bunch of new characters that I've not seen before, and so I don't really care when they die. Yeah. It's just they could have done something, just switched up a little bit.
It's weird, yeah, because that is, I guess, like, yeah, that is the type. So the lightsaber stuff is the more kind of emotionally charged, the family stuff.
Yeah.
And the other stuff is the big dramatic backdrop, the Skywalker family saga playing out against this kind of intergalactic battle. And when they had that scene around the kind of the Resistance base, I didn't think that was almost going to be the final act. When they said this biggest, I thought that was going to be like, that was going to fall away quite quickly, and there was going to be something else behind it, because they set it up so much as a joke, and it's an amusing moment. But I thought it was going to be set up as a joke because there was going to be something else. Because when he was like, "Oh, come on, there's always a way. There's always shields," and it's a mixture of New Hope and Jedi. And he's like, you literally have Harrison Ford, Han Solo, with Chewie again shutting down the shields on Endor. But it just happens to be on the same planet as the Death Star, as it were.
Yeah.
But I will say I had no problems with a lot of the other repetitions, and it's a very personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the stuff that, you know, Rey's journey being similar to Luke's, and Poe being a bit like Han, and, you know, BB-8's mission being a bit like R2-D2's. Actually, I quite enjoyed all that stuff. It was just that final half hour. I was like, I thought we would end somewhere slightly different.